So, Sherry, foundations are typically used for charitable purposes, but Labuan offers private foundation structures. What are their benefits?
The Labuan Foundation's main benefit is for succession planning and asset protection, of course. But Labuan, being the first Asian country to enable the creation of private foundations, similar in the mode of the civil law foundations such as the Liechtenstein Foundation and in Europe, the specialty is that it is aimed specifically at private family foundations. Whereas if you were to compare in other Asian countries, say Indonesia, Thailand, those foundations are mainly charitable in nature only.
And Sherry, why do they make good wealth preservation and succession planning vehicles?
At the end of the day, all of us advising clients on their managing of wealth, we come to the same question. This balancing between the desire to accumulate and create wealth to be balanced with the preservation needs, and how do they distribute their wealth, particularly to the next generation, be it the private family wealth or the family business wealth. The Labuan Foundation, as with every jurisdictions which offer foundations similar to the Labuan Foundation, in these sort of foundations, typically the foundation is a separate legal entity. In other words, the foundation will be the one holding the asset and legally considered to own those assets. So should the founder who establishes the foundation meet with any of the famous 4Ds, mainly death or disability or divorce, then the assets that had been endowed to the foundation would no longer be considered the assets of that founder.
Sherry, how do they differ from trusts?
Trusts typically are common law creations, and foundations are civil law creations. They do the same job of managing assets, but the foundation could be said to be having extra capabilities in that legally it is having its own entity, and the founder in effect can reserve many powers to himself, similar to a trust, which can also reserve where the settlor can reserve powers to himself. However, there is a huge body of law, case law, as to when this reservation of powers in a trust might lead to the trust being struck down as a sham trust, meaning to say then the assets would be reverting back to into the settlor's name. Whereas in a foundation, it is seen to be more secure in that sense, because perhaps the law hasn't developed, or rather the civil law system has not developed to the stage where this concept of sham has been litigated on.
Is there anything else unique about Labuan and these type of structures?
Labuan is unique in that it also offers the Labuan Islamic Foundation, whereby it is a foundation that is set up in compliance with Sharia principles, because you need a Sharia advisor on the foundation council in order to advise on matters relating to the foundation, be they matters of investments, whether those investments are Sharia compliant, and also with respect to Sharia compliance in terms of the distributions to be made. So in Labuan, it is possible to set up a Labuan Islamic Foundation whereby you might form two committees. You can call them the distribution committee and the investments committee, and these will have Sharia advisors to determine whether the investments and the distributions are made in a Sharia compliant manner. Besides the private family foundation and the Labuan Islamic Foundation, Labuan also offers foundations which are purely charitable in nature, and also foundations which are a hybrid, which has purposes which are private for the family and also including a charitable element, which you can call a private purpose foundation.